My name's Liz Sneddon. Let's have a look at our Level 2 Probability exam from 2019 and let's look at question 1E. So here we go. Blake has weighed the toasted bread and he's found that 10% of the toasted bread weighs less than 26 grams and the mean weight is 30.2 grams. And we need to find the standard deviation. Okay, let me draw a little diagram and put what information I know on the diagram. So I know that we've got a mean weight of 30.2 grams. Now we're told 10% of the toast weighs less than 26. So on my number line, okay, 26 is down here further. So I'm going to draw a line down there at 26 and the area below that is 10%. Because 10% weigh less than that. Now we don't know the standard deviation. That's the bit that they want us to work out. Okay, so there's our problem. So there's two, we can do this, we can do some of the working using the graphics calculator or some of the working using the table, but we are going to need to do some calculations to finish it up once we've used those tools. So let's start by having a look at the graphics calculator. So in order to use the graphics calculator, we need to talk about our Z distribution, which has a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. And we want to find the Z value so that this tail, the area below it, that area is 10%. So we want to select and say, right, our tail, so we're using the inverse normal distribution. Our tail is going to be on the left hand side and the area is 0.1, okay, or 0.10. So now let's get our calculator and find the Z value. So I now want to go into my stats menu. And again, I want the distribution menu, so F5, and I want the normal distribution, F1, and this time again I want the inverse normal. So the area that we've shaded in the bottom 10% on the left hand side. So we want the left tail, and that bottom tail is 10%. So 10 divided by 100 to turn it into a decimal is 0.1. Now, this is where we use our Z distribution. So our Z distribution has a standard deviation of 1 and a mean of 0. So that then gives me my Z value. So that tells me Z is equal to negative 1.2815516. If we instead use the tables to find the Z value, let's just have a look at how that would go. So we've got these values inside here, which are our probabilities. Okay, so from our diagram, we want this area down the bottom here to be 10%. Now, match our diagram there with some point here. Okay, also no symmetric, so this side will be equal to that side. And so this tail there is also going to be 10%. Altogether, 50% on one side, 50% on the other. So that red region here, that's 0.4, and this is 0.4. Okay. So we're going to look up a probability of 0.4 in the tables. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to start looking to I get to these two rows here. That's where it changes from 0.3 something to 0.4 something. And now I'm going to go back to that 0.3 number and I'm going to look along that row. Okay. Then I'm going to look along that row till I find the number just below 0.4. And so here it is there, 0.3997. So that's the probability is 0.3997. The Z value that it belongs to is 1.28. So that's a Z value and it's below, so it's going to be negative 1.28. Now go back to the probability If I add another 3, 3 plus 7 takes me round it up, and that will give me 0.4 exactly. So I want to add a difference of 3. So I look along at these differences section, and I'm looking there. There's 2 and then 4, so 3 is halfway between it. So halfway between the 1 and the 2 is 1.5. So I'm going to do 1.5. So there is my Z value. So we've now found the Z value is negative 1.2815. Getting to that stage, that will give us a merit. Okay, so now let's look at what we need to do to get the excellence. And we're trying to find the standard deviation. So we've got a formula, Z equals X minus the mean over the standard deviation. So our Z value, negative 1.2815, is equal to X, which is 26, minus the mean of 33, not 33, 30.2, divided by the standard deviation that we don't know. So that's the formula that I need to solve now. So I'm first of all going to get rid of this divided by standard deviation. The opposite of dividing is times. So I'm going to get negative 1.2815 times the standard deviation equals 26 minus 30.2. Now let's just simplify that. So negative 1.2815 times the standard deviation is negative 4.2. Now I need to just get the standard deviation by itself. That's what I'm trying to do. So I want to get rid of times negative 1.28. The opposite of multiplying is divide. So I'm going to get negative 4.2 divided by negative 1.2815. And that will give me a standard deviation there of 3.2774. And so I can round that to 3.3 grams. If I can get through to that with the working, I must have the working, then that will get me my T for excellence.